Okay, my name's Zakashi, guys, and by the title and the thumbnail, this video is sure to be interesting. We are going to be discussing two of the anniversary units. One is from part 1 and one is from part 2. The first unit we're going to be talking about is FUSING Gogeta Blue. The other unit coming alongside him is God Goku. One has had quite the uprise while the other has had a bit of a downfall, and to even call it that might be giving the unit the benefit of the doubt, which is crazy to say. But I think both of these units had suffered quite a bit in terms of the community's opinion on both of them. They've had a bit of controversy for a numerous amount of reasons, so in this video here we'll be following their story, looking at what they've gone through during the anniversary to this point here. Also to add, I will be comparing both of them. Let's get into this. So I think it makes most sense to start with the release of Gogeta Blue. Gogeta Blue is a part 1 6th anniversary unit. He was revealed second, so he was immediately put against the likes of FUSING Super Vegito. However, I would definitely say he had the audience's appeal just off of being Gogeta Blue. Gogeta Blue came with the strike assault mechanic, and he was immediately advertised as being able to counter every single gauge, just completely ignoring it, bypassing it to do damage. Given the gauges we recently had in the game, the likes of Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, Ultra UI, it was a very big deal that he was capable of doing this, as it meant the toxic units that we had prior would no longer shine, as we all placed our expectations on Gogeta being able to free us. Even though FUSING Super Vegito has the Rise and Rush mechanics which guarantees him to win every single wager, the general audience pushed towards Gogeta Blue, given that 1, he's Gogeta Blue, and 2, that idea of countering gauges simply screamed freedom. So much so that he became the most used unit in Dragon Ball Legends for players above BR70. However, give it a couple days, people began to see that FUSING Gogeta Blue wasn't the unit that we expected him to be. It's not that he was bad, he was still super amazing. However, it was found that he was tanking a lot better than he was dishing out damage, even though he has the strike assault mechanic. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. He does have the impact resistance, so he's able to tank a lot. There were so many debates going on, spanning from Vegito versus Gogeta, but that's always happening. But in this case specifically, he was put up against a previous Ultra UI Goku, who has the dodge mechanic and is an absolute sniper. People were discussing, is he more valuable than Ultra UI, and do you need Gogeta Blue with Ultra UI existing? Ignoring all the value in the kit, the animations were absolutely outstanding. This guy with his strike assault and his general transformation going from Goku and Vegeta in blue to Gogeta Blue, in general the top of the class when it comes to Dragon Ball Legends animations. Now let's go into Super Saiyan God Goku, who released in part 2 of the 6th anniversary. Super Saiyan God Goku, another unit revealed second in the part 2 this time, he was put up against the likes of Ultimate Gohan. Now I have to say, when it comes to their kit potential, it was an absolute wash. God Goku stood no chance on release. Now, it's not that God Goku is completely bad, but he was given the absolute worst scenario to thrive in PvP. His element choice just did not help when they released the Ultimate Gohan, who was easily a top 1/2 unit, even surpassing Gogeta Blue. Having such a powerful unit that is purple, type advantage against God Goku drop at the exact same part immediately showed what unit was going to be more valuable off rip, and I think that's what really made it so upsetting that God Goku, who had amazing animation, was just unable to shine given his competition. I kind of see him as that shiny diamond that nobody puts value to. It doesn't make sense. A unit that looks so good but can't perform well. In this game, outside of preference, you might as well stick to story mode. As harsh as that might sound, this unit isn't doing a lot in PvP. There are some things that are good that he does do, but nothing spectacular. He does have endurance, an explosive green, his ultimate does hit like a truck, but none of that matters if you're able to melt him and nullify his endurance with the other units that exist. Simple things like having key and card on entry he does not have, and that immediately puts him way below a lot of other contenders in a top 10 list. It got so bad to the point that hashtag buff God Goku was something that began trending in the Dragon Ball Legends community. When you've got it like this, like I said at the start of the video, calling it a downfall is even giving him the benefit of the doubt. It's really bad for an anniversary unit to have to go out like this. Amazing animations to get wasted on a unit that's not going to be used even a month down the line, to the point where he's fighting for his life in the top 20 most used units above BR70. By the next month, he'll be completely out of that list, no longer even being used in the high ranks, and that's just regarding fun. Now, if we hit a little time skip into the part 3 looking at what happened at this time, we would see that there was the release of Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. This did not help God Goku in any way, shape or form. It was already hard enough for him to perform with Ultimate Gohan being in the game, and maybe he stood a chance because he was green fighting against the likes of Fusing Super Vegito who's blue. But we quickly saw the developers had no intention of keeping his value high in the game, and to even say they were high in the first place is pretty much a lie. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta dropped with the hardest hitting ultimate in the game and his untouchable counter, which meant no matter how hard you push through, he's going to break your combo at least 3 times. There's only 2 ways to get out of it, and it's pretty much to take him out before his counter activates, so by one-shotting him practically, or by dealing with every single counter gauge that he has, which can activate 3 times in a battle. So at the bare minimum with option 2, you would be having to get 4 priorities against him, which is absolutely insane. And then you put up a green unit against him, it just doesn't work out. On the other hand, this is where we see the uprise of Gogeta Blue. Before that, he was in a wavering conversation, but now his value began to feel solidified. Having 2 purples, in part 2 Ultimate Gohan releasing, and now part 3 we got another purple, who's the best unit in the game at that, Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. A specific gauge he holds, that Fusing Gogeta Blue is able to counter, he was literally born for this purpose. What I'd like to mention in this segment is that it's a good showing of just because a unit released prior to another unit releasing, doesn't mean that they weren't intended to counter. Fusing Gogeta Blue's gauge is perfect for countering G4, and that shows that the developers clearly had some intention with dropping Fusing Gogeta Blue as an investment for the future where they would drop Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. If you have Fusing Gogeta Blue, even though in part 1 he might have been slightly worse than Fusing Super Vegito, which should have been apparent, but in hindsight it showed super true. In part 2, he was in the debate a bit more because Ultimate Gohan was in debate of best unit in the game, but Fusing Super Vegito was still super good. In part 3, we clearly see his value skyrocket, and that's because there's an exact gauge that is weak to Gogeta Blue's main function, Strike Assault. By this point, Gogeta Blue has completely nullified the Ultra UI conversation. Nobody is comparing Ultra UI with Gogeta Blue, and if you were, you're completely delusional, I have to say. Gogeta Blue absolutely became the man when it came to countering Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and he was another good option to take out Ultimate Gohan. 2 purples damn near running the game, you're going to need a yellow to save you. Who else better than the part 1 Super Saiyan Blue unit, Gogeta? Another factor for it being super apparent is that the meta generally favored strikes than blast. Ultra UI being a range type unit and Gogeta being a strike type unit, he also meshes a lot better with G4 and the likes of Ultimate Gohan, who are both Son family units, and because Gogeta Blue is a Goku and Vegeta fusing into Gogeta Blue, he counts as a Son family unit, but he's obviously also a fusion warrior, so he's on the exact team of those characters who he also opposes. At this point, a lot of the community has Gogeta Blue above Fusing Super Vegito. In addition to that, a lot of the community has Gogeta Blue above Ultimate Gohan. The only one Gogeta Blue can't seem to surpass is the likes of Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, the Anniversary Ultra, who's completely unstoppable and untouchable. But to have Gogeta Blue come from debating between UUI and even having people switch up on him from most used unit to then seeing that Fusing Super Vegito is better, to then rise all the way to being a top 2 unit, maybe not in everybody's eyes, but a lot of people definitely felt that way, it's nothing short of a come up. But on the other hand, God Goku, at this point, McQueen is fading.
You alright? Listen, don't you worry, pal. You had a good run. Enjoy your retirement.
McQueen is fading fast.
To have him even in the top 10 conversation is a disrespect to every other unit in the top 10. It's not that he's unusable, but simply not a good meta option given his element and the shortcomings in his kit. And that's honestly just a shame. To conclude this video, I wanted to talk on some points based on both of these characters, mostly referring to the future and what it holds for both of them. Let me get through God Goku quickly because I don't have much to say on him, but I hate to say it, he's pretty much dead until he gets a plat. There's no way he's going to gain value with his kit having a lot of shortcomings, him soon to fall off the boost, and his element choice against the likes of Ultimate Gohan and G4. At the max, just use him out of preference because you enjoy the unit's looks, which caters to more so the PvE side of the game. game. But in reference to Gogeta Blue, I think one big thing about him is that his value isn't dependent on him solely, and that's why I have my worries about him. Even right now in the game, his value is wavering a lot simply because Omega Shenron's release. This is a green unit who should have been weak against the likes of Ultimate Gohan and Gogeta 4. However, because he has Indestructible, he's being used in addition to those units. He's also GT, so he meshes well with G4. The survivability factor that he has is able to make him a big asset, which allows him to be used over the likes of Gogeta Blue, which a lot of high ranking players are doing. So for Gogeta, what I have to say is his value will rise as long as he has a place on his team. If there's a third unit on Fusion Warriors, Vegito has solidified his place because of rushes and G4 is untouchable. As long as there isn't a better third than Gogeta Blue, he will have a place in the meta. In addition to that, if there are purples in the meta, he will have a place in the meta because his value in countering purples will always be there. And the last thing I have for him is that if there is a gauge that he is able to counter, he will have a place in the meta. It doesn't necessarily mean that only if one of those are true, he will exist, but moving forward, I can guarantee we are bound to see him fluctuate within top 10 lists all over the community. That's going to be it for the video, man. Let me know what you think about this. I think I hit it on the nail in regards to how Gogeta Blue has come up in value and consistently fluctuated. Wow, God Goku, pretty much dead on release, has had such a difficult time trying to survive against these powerhouses. I'm sure you guys like both of these units, but they've had quite a journey, even though they only released a month ago, 2 months ago at that. But that's all I've got to say for this video. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you haven't already, make sure to press that subscribe button. We're on this grind to 100,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name's Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.